Alright homies, welcome to the first episode in my Modern Warfare 3 weapon breakdown series. In this episode, we'll be covering the SVA-545, a very strange looking version of the Russian AN-94. The SVA-545 is a moderate damage weapon, at least compared to its peers in the assault rifle class. Chambered in 5.45 by 39mm, it deals 33 damage to the torso and 42 to the head, which means in its first damage range, you'll need no more than 5 bullets to kill in close quarters, or 4 headshots courtesy of the damage multiplier to the head. The rate of fire is moderate at around 681 rounds per minute. This is average for most assault rifles, nothing too quick, but it does also feature a hyperburst function, which allows the first 2 bullets when you pull the trigger to come out much faster than the rest, very similar to the AN-94 in real life. The hipfire and tactical stance spread is nothing to write home about, pretty much average for the assault rifle class. You could attempt to make a hipfire or tac stance build in the gunsmith, but I don't think it's the most consistent way of using this weapon, so you're better off just using it normal. Now moving into handling, the recoil for most players is going to be very moderate. It pretty much goes up and to the left, very easy to control once you actually get it down. Our ADS speed is at around 230 milliseconds, and our sprint to fire speed is at around 190. The mobility for this weapon is honestly pretty solid, and if you throw on a lot of heavy attachments, you won't feel that slowdown really all too much. Magazine capacity is at the standard 30 rounds, with extended mags granting you 45 or 60 rounds. The reload time is fairly average, taking 2.6 seconds to complete, and if you fire all the shots in the magazine, it's only going to take you slightly longer at 2.9 seconds to complete a reload. Now, while using this gun, I found 2 very fun ways to build it, with my first one being a SMG build. This was the most fun I had with the SVA-545. The movement speed and the handling is just absolutely insane, especially for assault rifle. Even with us having on that no stock, the recoil is still pretty manageable, and if you can't control it, you can obviously switch it to a 2-round burst. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you're getting into a lot of close range fights, and obviously you are going to want to have pretty good aim if you use it like that, but you can keep this thing a full auto, just fly around the map. Obviously the one drawback is the 30-round mag. You might burn through ammo a little bit, especially if you try to push that range. You know, it's not going to be as easy to hit your shots, but as long as you're playing aggressive and you're just getting up close and in everyone's face, man, this is a super fun way to play the gun. But let's say, you don't want to have as much fun. You just want to go into pubs, open up Pandora's box, stomp some lobbies, get some high kill streaks. This is probably the way you're going to want to go. This is my hyperburst build. With this, we're going to be switching the gun into that 2-round burst mode, and every attachment is focused on increasing the damage over range and the bullet velocity just as much as we possibly can. And then since we're going to be playing a little bit slower, a lot more methodical, we can throw on that 60-round mag just to make sure we have as much ammo as possible. And then for the final attachment, it can be really whatever you want. I'm going to throw on an optic just so that way my iron sights aren't obstructing anything and I just got a clear sight picture of what I'm shooting at. This right here is by far the best way to use the gun. The great thing about using it in burst fire is that your rate of fire is pretty much how fast you can pull the trigger. And since we have such a high bullet velocity to match it, those 2 shots are pretty much going to be right on top of each other. And if you're aiming for the head, it's only going to take 2 bursts to put somebody down. Now, it's obviously not as forgiving as full auto, because if you miss that first burst or even your second burst, you're pretty much dead unless you can, duck to cover super quick. But if your shots are landing and you're just on point, you're kind of in that flow state, yeah, you're gonna have some people thinking you're cheating. But if you really want to optimize these builds and use them to the best of their abilities, you gotta have the right perks and gear to go with it. Now moving back to the SMG build, I want to focus on stealth and mobility as much as possible. Our first selection being the infantry vest, which allows us to increase our attack sprint duration and reduces our refresh time, allowing us to run around the map as fast as possible for much longer and much more often. For our lethal and tactical equipment, I decided to go with the throwing knife and the stim to lean even more into like that speed and stealth combo that I was going for. You can use the throwing knife in a pinch, you know, if you're not expecting somebody, throw it at them really quick, get that one hit kill. And then with the stim, if you're at low health, obviously it heals you back up, but you also get a refresh on your tag sprint, allowing you to move around even faster. For the field upgrade, you could go with something like the portable radar. I just ended up going with the munitions box just in case we're running a little bit low on ammo and maybe we just need a refresh on our equipment. Now for the gloves, we're going to opt in to use the commando gloves. This allows us to reload while sprinting, basically meaning that even in downtime of a reload, we can keep that pace super high, move around the map still super fast, and get into our next gunfight much faster. For the boots, I think that this is pretty obvious, but we're going to opt in to use the covert sneakers. You don't want to sound like an elephant running around the jungle, and this helps you stay nice and quiet, allowing you to move around freely. And then for the gear, to make sure that we're absolutely off the radar, we're going to be using the Ghost TV camo. This makes it so while moving, we're not going to be detected by UAVs, portable radars, and heartbeat sensors. So basically, no matter what, unless they got an advanced UAV, they're not going to know we're coming. Now moving back to the Hyperburst build, for this class setup, I was basically trying to focus on staying alive as much as possible, while also having the ability to know where enemies are coming from a lot easier. So we're going to be using the CCT comms vest. This basically zooms out our radar, allowing us to get a little more awareness as to what's going on, see where unsuppressed fire is coming from, but also any enemies we kill, they drop this intel pack, which when you pick it up, gives you just a small UAV ping pretty much. This is great because it allows us to know just everything that's going on, and we can plan a little bit better to get a better position, hold down like a lane, and just get ready to take out anybody who's coming our way. This does, however, take away our lethals and tacticals, but it does also give us another gear slot. So with the field upgrade, I went with the munitions box because you don't really need like a portable radar. It does help even more for knowing what's going on, but if you just stand over someone's body, you can pick up that intel pack and basically get a portable radar ping anyways. For the gloves, I decided to use the marksman gloves. This allows us to have less sway and also reduces our flinch while aiming down sights. So if somebody starts shooting back, we're going to be on target a lot easier, and it just makes our gunfights a little more consistent. Now for the boots, you could honestly go any way you want. You're going to be playing spawns and just trying to hold down a position in the sightline. So whatever helps you do that, just go ahead and use it. I decided to use the stalker boots just to have a little bit more strafe speed. Now for the first gear slot, I decided to use the bone conduction headset. This reduces like the sound of gunfire, your friendly footsteps, and just like the overall ambient noise in the background. But it also boosts enemy footsteps, allowing you to very easily hear somebody if they're not using covert sneakers or dead silence. So pretty much as soon as you hear footsteps, look in that direction, and 9 times out of 10, you got a free kill. And then for the second gear slot, I decided to go with the EOD padding or flag jacket, whatever you want to call it. And that's pretty much because once you've killed somebody multiple times, they're going to know where you're at and they're going to start chucking nades in your direction. So you're going to want to be able to actually survive a grenade, you know, move back, kind of recollect yourself, and then just get back into the fight. The SVA-545 is a very versatile, very low skill ceiling gun, which honestly in the right hands can be very dangerous, allowing its user to build it for up close engagements or even dominate at long range. And while it can somewhat burn through ammo, its low recoil and generous damage over range allows it to be very consistent. And if we're being honest, if it's not allowed in ranked play, I think that shows how the potential of the SVA-545 is quite explosive. And as always, make sure to drink some water, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.